Adam and Jamie are testing a myth that might just save your house and your life. Will opening every window in a hurricane lessen the damage to your home? Well, at NASA's wind tunnel, the small-scale experiments fortified the fable.
When we opened all the windows, we saw in that test specifically the least amount of overall pressure on our structure. So where does that leave us?
Somehow we need to get from those pressure differentials we saw in small-scale testing to a real-world situation and see what it means in terms of structural damage. But that leads us right back to, where are we going to get a hurricane?
Well, the simple answer to that is Florida. And it really doesn't matter if it's hurricane season or not.
When you want to investigate the power of hurricane-force winds, you can do one of two things. Either A, get yourself into the middle of a real hurricane, or B, travel to the University of Florida's Hurricane Research Facility, which is where we are now, where they have the world's largest portable hurricane simulator.
For obvious reasons, this 3,000 horsepower hairdryer is nicknamed Medusa, after the mythical Greek chick with snakes on her head. But this modern monster is way more perilous, pumping out 1 million cubic feet of air a minute.
What exactly do you do with it?
The hurricane simulator is an experimental means to create severe wind and wind-driven rain so we can test buildings, utilities, and even the landscaping around your home.
Well, what's on the menu for us today?
We're going to dial up a Category 2 storm with wind speeds in excess of 100 miles per hour.
Wow.
You said it, Jamie. And the guys just can't resist the thrill of first putting their own hides in harm's way.
Have you ever wondered what it would really be like to be in hurricane-force winds? Well, we've all seen news footage of hurricanes when they hit land and so on. This is 100 miles per hour, and notice how hard it is for us to retain traction on this surface. You'd be like a tissue cloth in the wind.
Oh, that is awesome! I'm okay, but my suit's starting to come apart.
Before Jamie gets nude for the cause, let's pre-test with a target that's much closer to scale.
7 years of shooting this show, and they finally got us a trailer.
Yep. Well, let's put it to good use.
The Saffir-Simpson scale predicts major damage to mobile homes in a Category 2 hurricane.
Let's start it up.
Medusa barely gets time to warm up before this caravan turns into trailer trash.
Well, that didn't take much. I don't even think those things got up to half speed.
This pipe organ from hell is more than able to produce the hurricane-force winds that we were looking for. Now, I think it's time that we build a house and put some of these open-closed window myths to a full-size test.
Jamie and Adam have already risked losing their shirts,
That is awesome!
then totaled a trailer
Well, that didn't take much.
to trial this portable mechanical hurricane.
I think we broke part of the toilet.
With a Category 2 wind speed, Medusa simulates a half-strength hurricane. So we're building a half-sized house to see if it suffers more or less structural damage with the windows open or closed.
Yeah,
It's been a while since your last Amish barn raising, hasn't it?
yeah.
This prefab cubby house roughly replicates a real home's proportions.
Home sweet home.
Yeah, for a little while.
A half-sized shack gets a quick paint job. Then Adam rides the rooftop.
I got something stuck in the crack of my butt. Can you see it?
It's not every day you see a house deliberately put in the path of a hurricane.
Oh, Dorothy, we are so not in Kansas anymore.
To assess the potential damage, they'll need to turn this house into a home.
There we go.
Simple furniture and a surrogate victim should be good storm fodder. Even more essential is a whole bank of expertly installed gauges measuring the air pressure inside and out.
Well, here's the deal. In a few minutes, a Category 2 storm is going to hit. The house is going to start to shake. Things are going to start to get a little crazy in here.
The Mad Hatter briefs Alice as the Dormouse puts it all in perspective.
Why is the house this big, you wonder? Why did we choose this scale? Well, this scale is dictated by the size of the machine behind me. See, this thing is pretty much the largest of its kind, and it produces a hurricane with the footprint of the cowl you see behind me. So in order to get accurate hurricane force winds all the way around our model, we built it exactly this large. Any questions?
No, but it's high time we explain just how a hurricane can wreck your home. Strong winds over the roof can cause uplift, while, depending on the building, horizontal pressures can cause racking or sliding. And if the house can't rack or slide, it might just overturn. Adam and Jamie are now ready to find out if those pressure differentials they saw in small scale translate to real structural damage in large scale. They'll start with all windows open, which should subject the house to the least amount of pressure.
All right, windows open? Windows open. Let's do it!
Medusa kicks into life and soon starts blowing with a vengeance. The grass starts to flutter, the stick-on shingles are ripped from the roof, and the drapes are almost blown away as the wind speed approaches, then passes 100 miles per hour. After 2 minutes, Jamie pulls the plug. As expected, with windows open, the house hasn't budged.
Hey, it's not as bad as I thought.
She's still sitting in her chair.
Yeah, one of the plants fell down, one of the candlesticks fell over, but pretty much it's not so bad in here.
Still looks like a tea party to me.
But if the small-scale results run true, the next test will be no tea party. They've repaired the roof and closed the windows.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, windows closed. Let's turn it on!
Hang on to your hats. Facing a Force 2 hurricane at point-blank range, this could be the moment our kit home turns into kindling. Once again, Medusa cranks up to full speed. Adam helps out with a huff and a puff. But against all predictions, the house fails to blow down. Totally baffled, the boys turn to the data from the pressure gauges.
On our exterior walls, we're almost seeing no difference between the pressure loads acting on the structure between the two tests.
What about the interior?
We're seeing a slight difference, but I think one could probably say that's within the noise.
So it's negligible.
It was negligible. In fact, really there is no positive benefit to keeping your windows open during a hurricane.
Confused? Here's the thing. In our scale tests, we grossly oversized the window's proportion to the size of the house in order to exaggerate any effects that we might get so that we could clearly see them. But with this test, with a much more real-world proportion between windows to the actual area of the house facing the wind, all those effects seem to disappear.
Technically, that's myth busted. But in the real world, gale force winds might be the least of your problems.
You know what I'm thinking is, wind is only one of the factors that's going to affect the structural integrity of your house. I mean, there's also rain and there's also flying debris.
We need to up the ante.
And rest assured, they will. So far, Adam and Jamie have disproved the myth that it's best to open all your windows in a hurricane.
That's exactly what we'd expect.
The large-scale house suffered no structural damage with windows open or closed. They were just too small to make a difference. But real storm damage might owe more to rain than it does to wind.
Time to bring water into the picture, and the guys are currently installing the Rainmaker, 71 spouts that will pour 40 inches per hour of rain on our house in a hurricane. It's not quite biblical, but it sure is torrential.
They'll need to replicate a long-term torrent in a few short minutes. So Jamie adds a fire hose to the sideways downpour.
That means we're going to dump a buttload of water onto this house all at once, and it should be pretty much equivalent to several days of hurricane.
Now with the rain, I feel like if anything's going to cause some real structural damage, it's going to be the 1-2 punch of wind and rain.
And punch number 3 is the flying debris. Adam supplies friendly fire via the lawn furniture. The windows get smashed early on, as they would in a real hurricane. It's a short storm, but they've literally thrown everything into it.
What, do you think we replicated an overnight hurricane in about 10 minutes?
Odds are they did. So how did the Tea Party weather the deluge?
Wow, what a mess.
There's water everywhere.
The best thing to do in a hurricane is to board up all your windows. The house itself won't be at greater risk, and you might save yourself a whole lot of heartache.
Imagine everything you own soaked to the bone. The floors of your house, all of your clothes, all of your electronics, all of your paperwork. And then imagine that it might take you days or even weeks to be allowed back into your house to start to salvage that stuff as it slowly rots and molds and becomes completely unusable. Then tell me if you still think water damage is minor. Well, with windows open or windows closed, where do we stand on this myth?
Well, in a Category 2 hurricane in a house built to code, no difference.
So then it's myth busted. No help from opening your windows. In fact, opening your windows opens you up to a whole new world of pain. You've got your water damage, debris, and even looters.
Well, if it was up to me, I'd be boarding those windows up and getting the heck out of there.
Yeah, me too.